Hello, it's Nikki. Today I want to talk about content and how we need to be very considered to make sure that this content we are creating or this content we are consuming is actually moving us in the right direction. So certainly now I put my own boundaries into my own online consumption because I know the algorithm will get me, and suddenly I will have been just scrolly for the last 2 hours, and I think, well, how did I end up here? So I need to be very disciplined with my own consumption as well. Also, when I'm thinking about creating content, I need to make sure that I know why I'm doing it and who I'm doing it for and what the aim and my intention is of that content. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. I know so many of you have been in winter hibernation and maybe stuck and maybe unsure and maybe are frightened of getting cancelled and maybe really in your head about it. Whatever's happening for you, this is going to be great for you. Number one, I would love to remind you that content is not going anywhere. I always joke with my clients about this, that nobody is turning off the internet anytime soon. There's not a date in the diary in like 3 years' time where it's like, we're all going to do this for a while and then we're going to turn off the internet and then we're going to go back to sticking up information on notice boards, and we're not going to do email anymore. We don't really like it. We're not going to do that. That moment is not happening. And so to be with the momentum, with the moves of how industries are going, we have to consider how we are going to progress in that space. We can't just say, oh, I don't really like it, or oh gosh, I'm in a bit of a content rut, and then not post anything or not talk about your business for the next 6 months. Because what you will find is if you don't post, or if you're not visible, if you're not online, people are just going to move to the next person and forget about you. And even though you might be tempted in 6 months' time to go, hi guys, I've just been off grid for a while, people have moved on. People may not see it. Your people who were in your community, in your network 3 years ago, they might have gone elsewhere. So what we need to do with our content is to take it seriously and to know that this is an important step. Number two, we have to stop being the diluted version of ourselves. We have to stop just being safe, being generic, being predictable, being what people in your industry do or say. We have to find a way to stop the scroll. And you can do this in so many different ways. What will make people listen to what you have to say? Is it a series? Is it how you shoot? Is it the kind of things you talk about? Is it your bravery that you say stuff that you know everybody else wants to say, but they're not brave enough to do so? You have to think about how you can welcome people's attention. Also, I know that can be triggering sometimes because it's like, all right, well, I don't want to be attention seeking. What you need to be also is just discerning with other people's time. So for example, if I sign up to have a workshop and I want to watch the workshop and I've set aside an hour for this, I don't want the first 20 minutes somebody just kind of welcoming people in, chatting about the weather, and then only the second 40 minutes is where the stuff is. I'd rather have it for 40 minutes and the person being like, hi, okay, great, yes, it's sunny today, great, let's get started. That is a better use of my time. And equally, when you're looking at your content, you want to make sure that you're straight in there and you're showing what it is that you do and how you can communicate with it. Number three, you actually do not know who is watching. You really don't. And I have noticed this over the last 25 years, the last 15 years since I've become an actor and a coach. Sometimes people will say to me, I've been watching your videos for years and I feel like it's time to work with you. And I have never had an interaction with this person. I don't know who they are. Not because not because I've been hiding elsewhere, is because they haven't made themselves known. And this can be really tricky in terms of measuring it, because sometimes people will be watching you and you're not the ideal person for them, or they are not your ideal client. And so therefore you must be considered in terms of what you share and have that person in mind that you're talking to, rather than just trying to appeal to everybody and welcome the biggest audience possible. That is a waste of your time. What you want is your audience to really be seen and felt and heard and really be taken care of in that moment. Number 4, I want you to consider where your people are when they are actioning what you have to say. So I want you to think about their attention span. There are some people, so let me put myself back in the spectator, in the client rather than the creator at this stage. There are some people that I love when they pop up in my feed. I'm like, there we are. Or that's brilliant. Or sometimes I'll see somebody and they've done a 10-minute video on a recipe that they're going to make. The first thing I will do is I will save, because I'm not going to watch those saved videos until I'm in my kitchen. Like, that feels like the next right step for me, because that's when I'm in my headspace of going, okay, if I'm going to make that, have I got the ingredients? I just save it immediately. Equally, when I sign up for a workshop, whether that's paid, whether that's free, I will carve out that time in my diary. So I won't have anything else going on, and so I can be present in that moment. I don't just go, oh, cool, it sounds good, free, lovely, I'll be there if I can. For me, that intention is wrong. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And so I want you to think about that in terms of your clients and your customers. How can you really pay attention to what they need and recognize where they are in this scenario? Number 5, beginning the transformation with support, and not just being a one-off that somebody sees. I have been talking about this for a long time, the personal brand space, for the last 25 years. And so the way that I see my content is I'm really clear about what gets to be in this scenario, my online presence, my digital disco, and what isn't. Now, of course, I want to share bits of my life as well, and I think that's important too, so people see the human being behind the business. But ultimately, when I go into teaching and sharing and educating and delivering mode, when I'm talking about business, I'm only really talking about a handful of things. And what I want to do is to then become that person who is known in that space. So somebody can come to me again and again, and even if they go, I want to start a personal brand, but I don't know where to start, if I keep talking about personal branding, they're going to come to me again and again and again. Number 6, I always think about how you can curate your content so people can get more of what they need. When I discover somebody, and maybe I'm listening to them being interviewed on a podcast, maybe they pop up randomly in my feed, and if I connect with that person, if what they have to say is like, oh my goodness, I feel like I've been waiting for this my whole entire life, this is perfect, yes, I would love more. And so as the creator, it's really important that you make that easy. It's such an easy win. If people are on board with what you are sharing already, make it easier so they can move with that and get more of it. Because this is all about layering in the know, like, and trust factor. And I would rather somebody have access to lots and lots of materials. Say, for example, I record an hour's worth of materials on a particular topic. I would rather do that and spend that hour and have that on an evergreen, accessible situation, rather than put 30 seconds of something and then invite all these free calls where people are, you know, not really that bothered. They're like, oh, I kind of like your video, and then you offered something for free, and then I end up doing 50 of these free calls, and This is about really thinking how you can support your clients. And I would rather get to a stage, but when I get to the call or the conversation that I have with somebody, that they are on board. They have self-selected in that way. They know that they're ready to go. Number 7, I want you to think about your content from a fresh perspective, really thinking about what you bring to the table. So I know that those prompts are great and like 5 things to do this, or here's something I learned today. They are good, but let's take those, if you want to do those off the shelf prompts or with AI, let's go deeper now. Let's say something that is interesting, that is provocative, maybe that is shape-shifting, that is a new perspective. Let's tell stories, let's make it personal, let's give analogies, let's push ourselves to actually do something different. The number of panels I attended when I was first starting out, so this is probably like 2010, I started doing these kind of women in business. And and I don't like to say this about women on panels, that seems incredibly rude. But I guess because I'm in this space and in my Speak Up program, I'm always helping people to be ready for those moments where they answer that question and they're that expert. The amount of people that just go, oh, I don't know, I've never really thought about it. I guess it's just about, building your confidence, really. And then they'll pause, like that's the end of the conversation. And I'm always thinking, no, what are your takeaways? Give me your 3 things that you do. Not all of them will be perfect for me, but maybe one of them will be. And I can run with that and that will be great. And I'll be like, oh, that time that person said that, it really stuck with me. We have to push ourselves to really do this homework, to do this due diligence about what we're going to talk about. Rather than being like, hi guys, and it's not really going anywhere. It's important to get into the nitty gritty. Number 8, let's think about the connection with our ideal clients. It could be so easy for you to come online and just tell your life story and tell everybody what you've been doing today, but this is a conversation. If you want to welcome people in to come and talk to you or hire you, it has to, like my 6-year-old would say, have the zigzag effect. So she talks about the zigzag effect when we're talking about sharing. She always goes, okay, we zig and then we zag and then we zig and then we zag. Like that's how it's going to go. Or if there's more in the circle, like she will actually do the action. That's the way that we have to see our content and the way that we show up online. It's a conversation. We want clients to come to us and go, I saw the video and now I'm going to do this. And you go, great, I'm glad you saw the video. What would you like to do? And they're like, well, you mentioned this thing in the video and I was thinking about this. What do you think? And you might go, yeah, I think that would be great, but have you thought about this? It's a zigzag conversation. And I think that it's lovely for you to tell your story and show who you are, but it's not just all about you. You have to put your ideal client into the mix here. Number 9, whenever I create a piece of content, I am always thinking about the bigger mission. Whether that's my own business goals, whether that's the kind of people that I want to reach, whether that's the kind of information I want to share. When I think about other people's businesses, like what I want to do for the greater economy, for women in business, like that's how I'm thinking. I'm not thinking, oh, I went to like a content workshop the other day and they said I should be posting 3 times a week. Okay, I'm going to post 3 times a week. I'm not thinking in that way. I'm thinking about what do I need to share? What's pertinent? What's happening? What season are we in? What's going on in the world right now? What needs to be brought to the surface? And being really purposeful about that. Finally, if you are not batching and being consistent, you are missing a trick. In terms of batching, I always think if you are set up with your camera, if you are in a writing flow state, write more than you need to. And that will mean that therefore you've always got something good to go. So whenever you have that moment of going, I don't really want to put my face on the internet today, it's all right, because you've got something up your sleeve. Equally, when you are consistent, you can sell much more easily and frequently, because if you are showing up consistently, it's likely you're giving value much more consistently, rather than doing some stuff behind the scenes and kind of going offline for a little bit and then suddenly popping up and going, hi, I've got something to sell, do you want to buy it? And then you kind of going away. So it's about building that relationship again and again and again. Likewise with the batching, we have the opportunity to have those through lines in our content. So some of the things that I do, I'll do a series, and instead of it being disjointed and me doing it live every single day, I'll just film the whole series in a couple of hours, and then I know where I'm going with it. It has much more of a continuation. I hope that has been useful today. I would love to know what would be useful for you in terms of content, where you want me to talk further. If you want a content strategy as well, send me a message. I'm booking people in. We can do this face to face in central London, or you can hire me and we will do it online. But when I'm talking about content strategies, by the way, I'm never just seeing it as a flat thing. It's not about color coordinating it into a spreadsheet. This is about really experimenting, getting things on its feet, and not just having a list of ideas, having a list of data essentially that you pull together, and so you go, oh, this really works, or I put this live and my audience loved it when I did X, Y, and Z. If you'd like one of those, send me a message. We can set up a chat first and go from there. Lots of love.